Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Luffman, and welcome into the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. This show is all about you, the fans. You get to ask the questions of today's guest, Philadelphia Phillies left fielder Rhys Hoskins. There are two ways to ask a question. Click the green button below and sign up or sign in for your chance to ask that question live. Or tweet us the questions using the hashtag Chatting Cage. Without further ado, let's bring Reese into the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Reese, thanks for joining us. First things first, congratulations on being selected for the Home Run Derby. Everyone wants to know who's going to be throwing to you in that competition.
Yeah, well, thanks for the congratulations. I'll have our minor league infield coordinator, Chris Truby. Spent a lot of time with him, in the minor leagues, hit a lot of his BP, so he'll be flying up from Clearwater to join me in D.C.
Following up on that question, a question from Twitter. Allison Polera asks, what's your plan facing Jesus Aguilar in the first round of the Home Run Derby this Monday night?
Quite simply, I think it's just to try to hit more home runs than he hits. You always hear about guys getting tired, so if you get tired, we'll call a timeout. But just try to get into a rhythm and hit more balls over the fence than he does. And we know how you can hit balls over the fence. MLB record 18 in your first 34 games. We know you're capable. It's time to welcome in a fan with a live question on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. What's your name and what's your question for Rhys Hoskins?
Hey, Reese. My name's Dylan. And my question is, as you may know, since you're from Philly, a hungry dog hits harder. So I'm just asking, are you going to bring along that same underdog mentality as the Eagles did with their Super Bowl run, especially facing Jesus Aguilar in the first round?
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, us as athletes, we can learn a lot from an underdog story. It was really cool just to see the Eagles do what they did, throughout the whole season and through the playoffs on into the Super Bowl. So, yeah, everybody likes an underdog, and I'll be ready to embrace that.
You are the 8th seed. Villanova was the 8th seed back in 1985, lowest seed to ever win the NCAA championship. I prepared for this, Reese. Next question. This coming from Twitter. Trevor Strack asking, what's the mood been so far with the team on top of the NL East with the break coming up?
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. I think that's the thing that's most obvious about the clubhouse. Everybody's light. Obviously I think winning does that, but we're a confident bunch too. We know that we're talented. We believe in the abilities that we have, and we're excited to see where this thing takes us in the second half.
Season best 12 games over 500 as you embark on this series against the Marlins. Next question from Twitter. @KBakerman asks, you made a special Topps card with you and your dad on it. How special was that for you?
Yeah, pretty cool. Topps did the Father's Day special for me and my dad, and I got to kind of surprise him with it. I said, hey, Dad, you think you ever would have been on a baseball card? And he kind of laughed and thought I was joking. So it was cool to get to surprise him with that, something that, I'll always remember with my first Father's Day in the big leagues.
We know you have a tender heart. We know how committed you are to the MDA cause. When you were first called up, help the fans understand why that's so close to your heart.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I did the MDA summer camp that goes on all around the country where for 1 week kids with the muscular dystrophy or neuromuscular diseases go to camp and basically just get to be kids. They get to have fun for a week. It's a week that these kids look forward to all year. So I went and was a camp counselor and just fell in love with the organization and everything that they're about.
Very easy to root for you with that kind of an answer. Let's welcome in another live fan question on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Rhys Hoskins, you know who this is.
Yes, hey, Reese. It's Jordan and Jake from the internet. We have a very important question. Congratulations on the Home Run Derby. We have a big question for you.
Yeah, hi, Reese. Big fan. With the Home Run Derby coming up on Tuesday, big moment for you. Building off of that, what is your favorite vegetable?
I'm going to have to go with broccoli. Just straight up broccoli.
Wow. No sauce, no nothing, just broccoli. Steamed?
Well, steamed broccoli, you add a little garlic, a little salt, you're good to go.
Tasty. I like it. I like where your head's at. Next question from Twitter. Oh, no. More. Please, take it away.
What is your favorite
How'd these guys get
fruit?
back on?
What is your favorite fruit?
Watermelon.
Okay.
Everybody loves a good watermelon in the summer.
Yeah.
Good
Good
pick.
pick.
Thank you,
All right,
Reese.
good,
Thanks,
good.
Reese.
I passed. Thank you, guys.
From fruits and vegetables to Twitter question from Mrs. McCoy 3. What was the most challenging part of the recovery process with your jaw?
Yeah, I think it has to be, I didn't get to eat solid foods for a good 4 or 5 weeks. I think everybody loves food, and we're blessed to be able to eat some pretty good food around here. So, yeah, it was just, I had to eat a lot of milkshakes, a lot of protein shakes, a lot of pureed foods that I never knew could be pureed.
Wow. It's time for our EDJ question of the day. Reese, what is the best advice you received so far in your playing days?
The best advice that I got was don't let an 0 for 4 make you 0 for 8. Obviously, this is a pretty humbling game, but things can snowball pretty quick. And I think if you're able just to kind of have a clear head every time you step on the floor or on the field, you're going to have some pretty good success.
That is wise advice. Our next question on the Edward Jones chatting cage with Rhys Hoskins comes from a fan. Oh, cute fans. What are your names and what's your question for Reese?
This is Haley and Maddie, and their favorite part about the game is getting to have ice cream and cotton candy. They want to know what your favorite part of game day is.
My favorite part of game day, well, I'll go with something that's off the field because you guys are talking about ice cream and candy. I'll go with the sunflower seeds and gum that we get to chew during the game.
I like it. What's your favorite flavor of gum?
Just a standard double bubble. I'll pop 2 in my mouth. Lasts me about an inning.
Nice. Next question from Twitter. Gerald K215. Who was your favorite player growing up?
I grew up in Northern California, so I grew up a Giants fan. Loved watching Barry hit. I think I could probably count on 2 hands the amount of at-bats I missed as a kid of his. It was just captivating what he was able to do, and pretty fun to watch as a fan.
Barry Bonds, what a stroke. Next question, also from Twitter on the Edward Jones chatting cage with Rhys Hoskins. What is your favorite thing to do in Philly on an off day?
There's so much good food in Philly, and I'm just scratching the surface of some of the restaurants and chefs that reside in the city. So every off day I try to get to, whether it's a new breakfast place or somewhere new for dinner, just to try the food out and see what the food is all about in the city.
At Lindsay M95 was probably expecting you to mention Philly cheesesteak. So I'll follow up with this one. Joe Mascola on Twitter. Best cheesesteak in Philly is?
I wish I've tried them all, but I haven't. The best one I've had so far is Sonny's. I believe it's on Market and 2nd. It's down in Old City. It's pretty good.
We often hear Pat's or Geno's, but you went off the grid with that. That's interesting. Next, we have another live fan question on the Edward Jones chatting cage with Rhys Hoskins. What's your name and what's your question?
Hello, Mr. Hoskins, diehard Phillies fan here. I am Daniel from Southern New Jersey. And my question for you is which player in the clubhouse has the best sense of humor?
Thanks, Daniel. I'm going to say Odubel Herrera. The guy's always laughing at something. Obviously, he's got the infectious smile, infectious laugh. And he's just a funny guy to be around. He's always cracking jokes and keeping the light mood.
And it's been a fun time with your team. Your team is the best in the bigs in one-run games, 20 wins and 8 losses in those scenarios. There's a whole lot to feel good about in your clubhouse. Next question, Cody M. Vega on Twitter. Who are you most looking forward to meeting next week in D.C.?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. Let's see. I guess Arenado. Big fan of his. Really love the way he goes about his business. I think there's something to be said for how he's so consistent year in and year out, and just an exciting player to watch.
Yes, he is. Very special. Another question from Twitter. This one from Eagles fan 78. What's been the biggest adjustment from last year to this year? Did you do anything different in the offseason?
No, nothing different in the offseason. Well, a little bit. I think some of the off-season training and workouts were geared towards, playing 162 and hopefully more instead of 140 that we play in the minor leagues. But I think the biggest adjustment has been just making adjustments. I think the more time in the league that you have, pitchers figure out adjustments that they have to make to get you out, and you got to make adjustments right back.
We can't talk about Twitter without bringing this one up. JT Cooper 1, you tweeted Wall 1, Reese nothing. Can't wait for our next meeting, Mr. Wall. What was going through your mind when you made contact with the Wall?
Well, the first thing, once I realized that I was still conscious, my first thought was, where's the ball? I got to get this in so, this guy doesn't score. But once I realized I was okay, I was just wondering in my head what that looked like. And I saw the replay about, 4 or 5 innings later and just started laughing.
You are a tough baseball player. That was my first thought when I saw that replay. Time to welcome in another live fan question on the Edward Jones chatting cage with Rhys Hoskins. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, Reese. My name is Gowan, and I'm a huge fan. I'm wearing your jersey now, actually. And I was just wondering how each at-bat has changed now that the second half is approaching and the playoff push is beginning.
I would say, not each at-bat hasn't changed too much. Obviously, the second half is approaching. The games are going to start meaning a little bit more, especially as we sit atop the NL East here. But I think actually quite the opposite. I think if we can try to keep, each at-bat the same and take them for what they're worth and each on their own, I think, us as a team and us as hitters, we have the best chance to be successful then.
You keep doing what you're doing. Rhys Hoskins, thanks so much for joining us on the Edward Jones chatting cage.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck at the home run derby to that guy. Easy to root for him. And thank you, fans, for joining us and making this show go. We'll have more shows all season long. Check back here for the next edition of the Edward Jones chatting cage. I'm Tony Luffman. We'll see you next time.